My name is Preeti, and I work in the international office at the Faculty of Social Sciences. And this is my dear colleague Marcella, and she also works in the international office, and it's kind of the pillar behind all the admission stuff. So together, we're going to talk to you and give you a brief overview of the different things that we have at the Faculty of Social Sciences, but also leave it up to you for questions that you might have, and we can address that. So we'll give everybody 30 seconds and then we can start. We like when the crowds are a little smaller because it gives us more time to have conversations with you guys.
Yeah, and just before we start, we just want to let you know that the meeting is going to be recorded because we also want people who were not able to join us because of time difference or previous commitments, we want them to be able to see what we have to say today as well. So that's one more person coming in. All right, perfect. Okay, great. Let's share the screen then. Okay. And we'll just dive right into it. And there will be plenty of time for your questions at the end. So if anything comes up during our speech, make sure to address it at the end.
Great. Thanks. Welcome again, everybody. Welcome to this specific webinar that's in Prague at the Faculty of Social Sciences. And once again, my name is Preeti Rajendran, and this is my colleague Marcella, and we both work at the International Office, and we're here to answer any of your questions, but we're also going to give a quick, brief overview of all of the programs that we do have at the Faculty of Social Sciences. And as Marcella said, for those that just joined, we will take all of your questions, but towards the end. So if any questions come up while we're talking, just note them down so that you can share them with us later. Okay. So I don't know how many of you have already had a chance to visit Prague, but this is the iconic photo that's often taken of Charles Bridge. And our office is actually literally what, a 5-minute walk away from Charles Bridge. So we're quite in the center of everything. This is a closer view of Charles Bridge. Usually there are hundreds and hundreds of people on the bridge because it is a huge tourist location. But if you come really early in the morning, this is what you'll get, the bridge all to yourself. And so this is our favorite part of walking on Charles Bridge without any tourists. But we are excited that if you do join us, you kind of get to experience the beauty of the city in this way as well. So we are a really interesting country because we're in the center of Europe. And Prague, being Prague, is extremely international. So a lot of people do have the question, you know, what is it like to study and live in the Czech Republic? Is English talked there? Is it Czech only? Are there other languages? And because it's so incredibly international with companies and people coming from every part of the world, English is becoming very fast one of the main languages that are spoken in the city, which makes Prague very, very different from the rest of Czech Republic. For sure. Am I right in that?
For sure. But we definitely encourage our students to still explore the rest of the Czech Republic, even though the language barrier is a little bit prevalent there still. It's still a gorgeous country to visit, and yeah, we definitely recommend that when you get here.
And I'd also like to add to that and say that Marcella is from the Czech Republic, and I am from India, and we have worked together for a long time now. And so we do have very interesting and mixed perspectives about living in Prague and living in Czech Republic based on our different exposures to the country. So in that way as well, any of you that haven't been to Prague or haven't been to the Czech Republic and have questions related to that, you can always ask us and we will field your questions based on both of our experiences. Why Prague? So a lot of students actually pick Prague because it has a really beautiful blend of tradition and modernity. So it is a fast evolving city in the European Union, a fast evolving country in the European Union, but it has incredible tradition and history and culture from ages and ages ago. So you continue to learn different things while you're living in a place like Czech Republic. A lot of people know about Germany or the Netherlands or the UK, but what makes Czech Republic really unique is that it has its own history, very, very separate from Western Europe, but is an incredible pinnacle in the European Union today as well. So you kind of get a blend of understanding Eastern Europe, Central Europe, and then Western Europe because it's a blend of all of it.
Yes, and as a faculty of social sciences, we are a part of the Charles University, of course, which you may have probably heard about. And that is our oldest university here in Czech Republic, but also the oldest university in the entire Central European region. It's also the biggest university here. We have about 50,000 students currently, out of which almost a quarter are international students. And it is a university with a very long tradition. We were founded in the 14th century by the legendary King Charles IV. When you come to Prague, you will realize that literally everything is named after Charles IV. So we are as well. And the university is divided into 17 faculties. Maybe this system is something you're already familiar with, but in case you are not, let me just explain very briefly that the faculties of Charles University are divided depending on the field of study. So we are the Faculty of Social Sciences, but you also have the Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Law, etc. And the faculties operate quite independently on each other and on the university as a head. So we do our separate admissions, we do separate rulings, and you will of course have the ability to interact with other faculties, but mainly you will be working and studying here with us at the Faculty of Social Sciences, which is the second youngest faculty in our roster of faculties. So it is a unique position to be in because we were founded after the Velvet Revolution as a faculty. So we have the perspective of modern and up-and-coming faculty, but in the context of tradition and the history of Charles University, which has been here for centuries now. So that is a little bit of a context for where we are as a faculty. And now let's talk a little bit about the programs that you've come here to hear about. So obviously we have bachelor and master programs as well as PhDs. If you are interested in PhDs, there is a separate open day for that. So you might get your questions answered there. But for bachelor and master programs, we are here to answer anything.
So we have 4 bachelor programs that we currently offer. Economics and finance is one of them, and that is 7,000 euros per year. The next one that we have is history and area studies. That is 5,000 euros per year. Politics, philosophy, and economics PPE, which is probably one of our most popular programs in terms of students wanting an interdisciplinary study. That is 7,000 euros per year. And then we have one of our younger programs that just started recently in the last few years, which is the social sciences. So students that want to study something similar to PPE, politics, philosophy, and economics, but don't want a heavy emphasis on economics, they tend to go for an interdisciplinary social sciences undergraduate or bachelor program, and that is 6,000 euros per year. So you have a wide range of programs. All of these programs are taught in English entirely, but I will say that there's a slight caveat to that with the history and area studies. The history and area studies bachelor's program does have a long component that's in Czech because of the fact that it focuses on the area studies of Central Europe. So this is something to keep in mind when you're looking at us as a bachelor program destination for yourself. All of our programs are taught in English, except for history and area studies, which is taught in English and Czech, because of the focus of the particular program. We will go on to our master's programs now.
We have a large range of master study programs. There's 17 in total, and they are a bit more focused and specialized as opposed to the bachelor programs that Preeti just introduced. I'm not going to read out all of them because you can do that for yourself. I will just let you know that there are several fields that are combined within our master's study programs, which are mostly related to economics and finance or political studies. We have programs that are concerned with international relations, programs that study area studies in detail, and also sociology and communication. So all our programs combine these fields in a very specific manner. We focus on interdisciplinarity a lot, like Preeti mentioned already. You can see the prices on the screen, but I'm sure that since you're already here, you've also been to our website before, so you've probably already checked out which of these might be interesting for you. Apart from those classic master study programs, we also offer 3 Erasmus Mundus study programs. What that means is that these master studies are shared with other European universities. So the students study a part of their program here, and then a part of it at a different university somewhere else in Europe. So that would be the Master in Security, Intelligence and Strategic Studies, which is done here and also in Glasgow. European Politics and Society is a program that's shared between us and also the universities in Leiden, in Barcelona, and in Krakow. And the Journalism, Media and Globalization program is shared between Charles University and the Danish University of Aarhus. So that one, the admissions are already closed for this academic year, but they will of course open again for the next academic year. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely apply for next year. So that is a very brief overview of all our programs, and let's talk a little bit about what the actual study looks like in case you're not used to this way of studying.
So the bachelor's programs are 3 years. I know some countries do have them for 4 years, but we have them for 3 years. And so when you graduate with a total of 180 credits. For some students, they tend to ask us, well, if we have a bachelor's that's a 3-year study program, will that be recognized for a master's program in other countries that have traditionally had 4 years of bachelor programs? And we say 100% absolutely yes. Our 3-year programs in the bachelor studies are actually equivalent to 4 years of study in many countries. And we are also well accredited within the European Union and well recognized because we follow the Bologna process. So it's very natural for students to come here and do a 3-year of study, which is 180 credits. And then they can apply for a master's here at Charles University or any other university in the Czech Republic or any other university in the EU or any other university in the world. So you do have lots of different options. For students that are looking at a master's program here, it's a 2-year study program and it's 120 credits that a student will acquire by the time they're ready to graduate. So it's pretty clear-cut in that way. We have a really flexible curriculum no matter what bachelor or master's program you do choose. I think we do have an incredibly large number of electives as well. So students that are interested in other programs can take electives based on other programs as well and kind of combine it with their own plan of study for either the bachelor's or master's. Okay, if you've got any other specific questions around that, you can always email us later and we can talk to you more about that.
Yeah, I will share the contact information at the end, so you will definitely know where to reach us. When it comes to applying for the courses and programs that we've just introduced, the deadlines, there are two deadlines for admissions. The first one is the end of February, which this year is February 29th, because we have a leap year going on. That's what we call the early bird deadline, which we recommend for students who will need to apply for a visa. So if you are coming to us from a country or with a passport that will require you to have a visa, we definitely recommend you to aim for this deadline, because the visa process in Czech Republic can be a little bit lengthy. So you would want to make sure that you have plenty of time to get everything in order. The second deadline, the sort of regular deadline, is April the 30th. So you can apply by the end of April. Even if you are a visa-seeking student, we will, of course, accept your application, but we do strongly recommend applying earlier if you can make it. What that means is that when the application deadline comes up, the committees will start evaluating your applications, and then you will receive the results of the admissions within about 3 weeks in the second half of the following month. So that would be around 20th of March and around 20th of May, respectively. The way admissions work is that you have to submit an online application at our application portal, and you have to also upload a range of documents to your application, which will then form the base of the profile that your committee will evaluate. The documents that you have to upload have to be in English or in Czech. Both of those languages are fine, but it has to be one of these. More information about the admission specifically can be found on our website. We have written out in detail what the process looks like, what you have to give us in order to evaluate you. But I will just give you a brief overview what we're going to need from you. Obviously, we need a proof of your previous studies. If you're going for a bachelor study, that means proof of your secondary school degree. And if you're going for a master's study, that would be your bachelor degree. That means a diploma, or in case you haven't finished your study yet and you're still finishing your final year, we will need a confirmation that you're completing your studies this year. With that, we also need a transcript of records or academic results from your previous studies. So that can be a diploma supplement, transcripts, something that shows your grades and the scope and content of your previous study. We will need a structured CV from you, a motivation letter, which should let us know why you chose this specific program, what do you hope to gain from it, and any previous experience or things that you feel are relevant to your choice of the program. And of course, also a document showing the level of your English proficiency, because all our programs are taught in English. So we need to make sure that you'll be able to handle your study. As for other documents that are specific for the program you're applying for, I definitely recommend you don't forget to check what each program might request. For example, programs that are related to economic studies will require some form of mathematics proficiency document, but that is always very clearly stated on our website in the overview of admission requirements for the program. If you're not sure about anything when it comes to what documents you are supposed to give us, what you can and cannot submit, make sure to reach out. Again, I'll give you my contact information at the end. I am directly handling the admissions for our office, so you will communicate with me when you have any questions, and I'll be, of course, happy to answer anything that you may need. One thing that we have a lot of questions about usually is the nostrification, the dreaded process of recognizing your previous education documents. The good news is that you don't have to stress about it right now, because for the admission process and for the application, we only need scans of your documents. with translation if needed. If it's in a different language than English or Czech, we need a translation. But otherwise, you don't have to concern yourself with any legalizations or authentications right now. In case you are accepted for one of our programs, we will then do the nostrification during your enrollment, which will be in September. And then, only then, you will be asked to bring your actual documents in person, the hard copies, and we will do the recognition process. We have described this process in great detail on our website to make sure that everyone has their questions answered. But in a very brief overview, what will need to happen is that you have to bring the actual original document or a notarized copy. The translation will have to be also present, and then some form of legalization. And that legalization will depend on where the documents were issued. So if, for example, you have studied in China, and you have a document issued there, you will need a specific way of legalization, which for China coincidentally is an apostille, but you'll be able to find a document on our website which shows very clearly what country corresponds with what type of legalization. Again, we'll be there for the whole process. We will let you know exactly what's going to happen, how and when, and if you are struggling or unsure about anything, we will be there to help and answer any questions and guide you through the process. But I promise it's much less stressful and terrifying than it sounds and than that you might expect. So this is very briefly about nostrification. And let me tell you also about scholarships, because that is something that we often get questions about. The scholarships in our programs are administered in two different ways. And one of them is the form of tuition fee discounts. So as we already mentioned when introducing our programs, there is a fixed tuition fee per academic year for each of our programs. But the program committee can give you a tuition fee discount for excellent results. So that can either be excellent results for admission, you are the best of all the applicants that have been accepted, so you can be awarded a tuition fee discount, or for excellent results during your study for the following academic years. So if you are the best in your program, you can have a discount of 2,000 or 4,000 euros per academic year, which can be quite substantial. The other form of scholarships that we can offer is an actual financial amount that is transferred to you. So that would be either a merit-based scholarship, which again, of course, depends on your results during your study. So it's not, unfortunately, available for first years because you haven't done any previous study at the faculty yet. So you can only get that in the second year when the first year results are considered. Or our FSV UK Scholar Program scholarship, which is, its aim is basically to support students in paying for their living costs during the time that they spend here in Prague, and it's awarded on a yearly basis. So you can get the sum is about 3,000 euros for your living expenses if your financial situation requires it and you find yourself in a difficult position financially. Again, everything about our scholarships is listed on our website. So if you're not sure about any details or how to apply for the scholarship, you can, again, reach out to us and we will definitely try to help you with that. All right.
Working in Prague. So this is a huge advantage for a lot of students over here that choose the Czech Republic. So if you are a full-time student, whether at the bachelor's level or at the master's level, you can work part-time or full-time in any industry in Prague or in the Czech Republic. And after you graduate, you can apply for something called the Job Seeker Visa, which allows you to stay in Prague for another 8 months and look for a job that might give you a full-time permanent position. So you do have lots of options, and a lot of students who do need to fund their education in different ways, this is a huge advantage for them, because not all the countries in the EU have that much of flexibility if you are a student. Usually there are time stipulations in different EU countries, so you can work part-time or you can work 30 hours a week. But in Prague, in Czech Republic, it's very open-ended, and you can actually have a full-time job while studying full-time as well, regardless of the passport that you hold, as long as you're a full-time enrolled student here. So this is something that we do emphasize for students that are looking at quality education, quality life in the Czech Republic, but also looking at the responsibility of funding their education in every way possible. The FSB UK Circle is one of our favorite circles. This is actually a student-led platform that is based with a bunch of volunteers from the bachelor's and master's programs, and they work towards organizing and putting together different events, whether from our faculty or across the city, for students that are studying at the Faculty of Social Sciences, so that when students come here, they have an instant community. And this is a really big deal. If any of you have Instagram, I would suggest that you follow our Instagram of the FSB UK Circle, because you'll get to see all the kinds of different events that they highlight, and it'll help you plan ahead as you consider studying with us.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, here's the contact information that you can reach us at. This is an email address for myself and for Priti. So you can reach out to either one of us if you find yourself having any questions in the future. I know they always come up right after we finish, so feel free to email us at any time. You can also follow the faculty at the following social media handles. We have, of course, an Instagram account, Facebook account, and all of those. You can also reach me at the email address below at the bottom of the page, the admissions@FSV.CU/NI. That is specifically for admissions, but it also goes to me. So any questions can either be directed there or to my personal email, and I will try my best to help. So that is a very basic overview of what we can offer, and hopefully that answered some of the questions that you might have had. Let me stop sharing the screen for now. And now, finally, we are coming to you and any questions that might have amassed in the meantime. So if you have any question, I don't think we have to raise the hands because there's so few of us at the moment. So if you have a question, just shoot. Right.
Hi. I have a question. So my question would be on PhD studies.
Mm-hmm.
Was it covered in the presentation, or did I miss it? Or
Right. Yeah, so we mainly talked about the bachelor's and master's programs because that is what we are responsible for, what we cover. The PhD studies have their own separate open day, so they will have an online webinar just like this. I will check, I'm not specifically sure when that is, but I think it's on our website. Let me see real quick so that I can give you.
so this seminar wasn't intended for PhD.
No.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, no, because the PhD studies are handled separately.
Okay.
All right. For PhD, that is February 12th at 4 p.m. So
Okay.
you can join us there as well. My colleagues who handle the PhD studies will be there. Do you know how to get to our website? Okay, so when you go to our website, the main page immediately The biggest news on the website, the biggest article is about the open days, and there is also the information on when and where it will be. So you can get to them.
Thank you.
There.
We saw another question pop up for PPE. Let me just read the question really quick. Hi, do you have an estimate for the acceptance rate for the PPE program? We don't really talk about acceptance rates here. We're very holistic in how our applications are for PPE. PPE generally out of all our bachelor programs tends to take the largest cohort of students every year. But we have a very diverse range of students that apply from all kinds of national curriculum and international curriculum backgrounds, and literally from around the world. So it's really hard to say year by year based on an estimate. We look at all our applications and then we decide who would make the best class every year. So if you're interested in PPE, we would encourage you to apply, but just keep in mind we are very holistic in how we look at admissions with PPE, and your story or profile makes a big difference in whether you're the right fit for this particular program or not. I hope that answers that question. Yeah. Moving on to any other questions.
I have David had one.
I have one question. Thank you for the presentation. I know that the this Faculty of the Social Sciences has a program about the Department of Marketing, Communications, and Public Relations, I think, but I believe it's only in Czech. But for example, for someone who wants to study on media communications and society, I believe, is there at least a part of studies about the marketing classes in English, or it's only in Czech if you have the information?
Right, and you're looking for a master program?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So the fields that you mentioned, society, communication, media, that is actually exactly one of our master programs that's available. And like Preeti said, there is a large amount of electives and optional courses. The way our curriculum is organized is that you have an option to take a lot of electives or optional courses from other programs as well. So you'll be able to, even if... All right, I'm very sorry for that. Can you hear us?
Now, yes, but I couldn't hear any part of the answer.
Okay, yeah, I will repeat myself. So the fields that you mentioned, society, communication, and media, that is actually exactly one of our master programs. And like Preeti mentioned, you will have an option to take a lot of electives and optional courses from other programs as well. So even if you are missing one aspect in the curriculum of that specific program, you can definitely take optional courses from other programs that may be related to marketing or something that you would also like to have in your study. You can tailor your study to what you want it to look like, basically. There is a few mandatory courses that you will have to take within your program, but the rest of it is very flexible, and you can sort of pick and choose where your interests lie and which fields you would like to deepen your knowledge in.
Thank you. And one more question, because you mentioned the possibility to work while studying. So how flexible are the hours or the courses? Is it possible to really fit in both while working and studying?
Yeah, that depends, of course, on your personal time management largely. But when it comes to the courses, the way we operate is that we don't give you a super strict schedule, like, on Monday you have to come at 4 or something like that. The students are allowed to create their own schedule, sort of. So when you register for your courses for the semester, you'll have an option to pick the dates and times that work for you. So, for example, many mandatory courses have one lecture and then several seminar options, because the seminars or the tutorials, whatever you call them, are usually organized into smaller groups. So there are multiple, and you can choose which ones you want to go for. So in that way, you can select the days that work best for you. For example, myself, I have also studied at the faculty of Arts, which is another part of Charles University. So I was able to put all my courses in 2 days. So I had 3 days left for working, and many students do something like this.
All right, thank you. And my last question is there any requirements for the to get the student visa? Because I've read somewhere you need a certain amount of funds on bank or something like that.
Maybe you can speak to that since you went through that process yourself.
So what you need in terms of your bank account statement is at least the first year fees in total in your bank account, and then it's a safe bet in terms of whether you'll get your visa or not. But if it is less than that, most students have actually been rejected and then they've had to reapply again. So just make sure that you're showing at least the first year's full funding.
The tuition fee, right? The stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let me show you on our website. We have also created a sort of a guide on how to get the visa. So when you go to our website, fsvcuni.cz, and go to admissions right here, there's a how to get a visa guide, which describes in detail what you need, what the timeline of the visa will look like, which documents we will supply for you, which documents you have to start getting on your own, how long it approximately takes to get a visa, etc. So you can go through the process. Of course, like the length and everything of the process may differ depending on how fast each embassy is working in your particular country, but general process is described there on our website. So that can give you the approximate idea of what you can expect from this.
Yes, and also you mentioned that after you finish studies, you have a certain amount of time where you can look for employment. Can you tell us once again how big is the window when you can like find a job or something after finishing the studies?
So that is about 8 months because you are losing your visa status or your student status the moment you graduate, of course. So if you want to stay a bit longer and you want to look for a job here, the visa is called job seeking visa, and you apply for it a little bit before you graduate. And then that serves to bridge that period before you find an actual job. And after that, you apply for a work visa with your employer.
Okay, thank you. That was all of my questions. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else would like to ask anything? Hi, Carol. Great.
Hello. I do have a question. First of all, thank you so much for your presentation and all the information. I'm looking for a master's in the Institute of Economic Studies. And well, I noticed that the 3 programs offered by the Institute require a background in mathematics and statistics. Let's say someone has a diploma in civil engineering. Is it mandatory to take the GMAT or the GRE test?
Right. Yeah, that's correct. They do require some sort of background and previous experience with those fields because a lot of the mandatory subjects of those programs are quite math and statistics heavy. So they want to make sure that the students will have the necessary basis for building on. It is not 100% mandatory to take the exams that you mentioned. It is, of course, possible to also prove your proficiency by your previous experience, or maybe you've taken courses during your previous degree that would give you that necessary background. So there will be an option in the application to upload something like that. So you can either put in your transcript of records from your previous study where you will show the courses that you took that are relevant to those fields, or you can upload some sort of confirmation or a letter from your previous employer if you've worked in those fields extensively. If you choose to upload the transcript of records, the committee of the program may ask you to also supply some sort of a syllabus of those courses so that they can check what the scope and content of those courses were. Just to make sure that it fits what the program is looking for.
Okay, makes sense.
All right. Anyone else has anything they were wondering about? Looks like not for the moment. Those were all great questions. Thank you very much for them. Again, oh, one more question right there. What is the enrollment number for the social sciences program?
Usually, our social sciences program prefers to take not more than 25 students per year. So it is pretty competitive. So that's something to keep in mind when you're applying to the social sciences program. But if it is something based on the description of the program, the right fit for you, and you feel like, yes, this is the program I want to apply to, don't hesitate and don't worry about the enrollment numbers. Apply, write a motivation statement that means the world to you in terms of why social sciences. And we encourage you to just not be afraid of enrollment numbers and admission statistics. Just put in your best application possible and see what happens. So feel free to email us separately as well if you have further questions about those programs, but don't get too hung up on the enrollment numbers. That's what we would say.
Definitely, yeah. All right, so if there are no more questions at the moment, like we mentioned several times, definitely reach out to us if anything comes up. The deadline for the early bird applicants is February 29th, which is a month from now. So you still have plenty of time, but also don't hesitate to submit your application if you're sure. All right. Well, thank you very much, you guys. It was great to see some of your faces. I hope we'll be able to see you in person as well in Prague as accepted students. And
I just want to reiterate what Marcela said at the beginning. If there's any part of this presentation that you want to double check on, the recording will be available on the Facebook page.
Absolutely.
And so you can go back and hit pause to the slides that you want to double check on. And of course, you'll have our email information there as well. So don't hesitate to write to us.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. And
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You have a
Bye.
great day. Bye.